Okay, let's call this meeting to order. And the first thing we do is, at every one of the quarterly meetings, is recognize our unsung heroes for here at Regency Oaks. And we have a very rare occurrence this morning for the Unsung Hero Award. We have a couple, Fred and Mary Ellen Gardner. They've been residents here for 8 years. Come on up. Let people see it. Fred is in the blue shirt. And Fred, first of all, has been behind the scenes for 8 years doing the sound, lighting, and video for the programs, activities, and plays here at Regency Oaks. That's a lot of events over 8 years. And now on the new Town Hall Committee, following the new installation of the sound and video system. Fred is a Methodist minister and has been for over 50 years. You don't look that old.
Thank you.
He has many accomplishments over those years, including the church services, starting law enforcement chaplain programs at several locations, and is one of the founders of the Meals on Wheels of Tampa. So how did he become the main person for sound, lighting, and video for programs, activities, and plays here at Regency Oaks? Well, as a minister, he helped install and use technology in many churches. He was a stage manager for 17 years at the Methodist Annual Conference to coordinate the sound, lighting, and security for the bishops and cabinet. Fred, we're very glad that you're sharing those skills with Regency Oaks. Thank you. Now with Mary Ellen. She's worked as a director of the Christian education for 30 years and has HR information technology field for 20 years. Information technology, this word comes in very handy. Mary Ellen updates the online Regency Oaks directory and the calendar in the Oaks. She verifies new residents' names, phone numbers, and emails, addresses, and coordinates with the print directory and the FLACRA listings. She keeps all our anniversaries and birthdays up to date. I'd like mine lowered, please. She maintains the calendar of events and locations, coordinating with the Regency Oaks directors and residents. Then, using the information technology skills, she enters the Oak pages she receives from Johanna into a new program. And she schedules residents and non-resident staff newsletters to be sent out each Sunday morning, every week, at 8 a.m. precisely. And for sharing your skills with us at Regency Oaks, thank you, Mary Ellen.
Come closer together so I can get a picture.
We've never had this picture like this with three people. So we have a token of our appreciation, or recognition. Can I stand behind them? Maybe that's the best way.
No, you're fine. Down.
Well,
Put the mic down.
Chris, put the mic down for the picture.
Thank you.
weird. I'm having computer
She took her phone
problems.
off and she can't do it.
Mary Ellen, fix it.
Oh, I see my problem. Okay.
You see the problem? It's operator error.
Yeah, it was operator error.
Never.
Okay, let's see.
I'll make you
Oops.
one.
Thank you.
Well, also,
Thank you all.
we have a couple of gift certificates to Oak and Vine, Brick and Vine, excuse me. And I'm not very good at French, but we have gift certificates for the charcuterie
Yay.
table. Did I say it right?
All you have to do
Charcuterie.
is look that up and then we'll know.
One for Mary Ellen and one for Fred.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know what that word means?
Cheese and
It's
crackers.
French. It's French for when you're out of bread to make a sandwich. So you just put it on.
I like.
Well, the minutes of the last meeting have been posted for 3 months. And if there's no additions or corrections, looking for a motion to approve in a second. John, any second? Second by Linda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, good. Motion passes. Election of new board members for 2023. We had 3 openings. We had 2 candidates submit. And we'll start with Candy. You can give us a little bio of yourself.
Okay, you want me up there?
Yes, please.
Oh,
Oh, geez. You gotta be on camera. And then Ed, you're next.
Good morning. I'm Candy Muller. I made notes because I thought I was here to make a campaign speech, but apparently nobody else wanted the job, so here I am. Hold it closer, got it, okay. I'm really excited and honored to do this job and be able to hear from everybody and hear what your needs and wants are. And I have my watch because Chris warned me at least 3 or 4 times, do not tell your life story. Chris knows me, once I start talking, I don't stop. So I will try to get it in. My husband is Lou. He calls bingo here. And we've been here about, what do I have arrows for? We've been here about a year and a half. I don't know what that is. I've learned a number of things since we've been here. One of the things was, I never knew there was something called recliner head because I never had time to sit in a recliner. But I've discovered that when you get up for your recliner, you have to look at the back of your head because you have recliner head. So, and the other thing, little personal thing, is I've learned why there's prunes on the salad bar. What are those things there? They're ugly. But anyway, let's see. Lou and I have been married for 58 years. We were high school sweethearts. I'm a real Jersey girl. We came here to Florida to come to the University of Florida, which we both attended. Go Gators, and I'm sorry for you FSU fans, but we love you anyway. Oh, only one day a year, do we not? We have 4 children, 5 grandchildren. Oh, look at that, no life story. Can you see that? I can barely read my notes. I am retired from Baycare Healthcare, and I've been in the childbirth business for many, many years, and have been very happy to make many changes in the birth field for women. I have been a nurse educator and have taught many midwives, teaching young nurses and graduate nurses about labor and birth. And it's disappointing to me because I can't use a lot of my things here, but I'll find a way to fit them in. I've been teaching midwives and everybody. I retired as Director of Family and Childbirth Education. What else do I want to say? I'm not running, so it's okay. And I guess that's it, and I hope that I will be here for all of you and you feel like you can come to me and be open, and I'm not judgmental at all. So thank you. Did I get it in?
Thank you, Candy.
Thanks, Chris.
You got a star.
It's a heck of an act to follow there, Ed. Hold it close.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. My name's Ed Hawks. I was born in Newark, New Jersey in 1933.
Hold it closer.
Straight out.
Straight out.
Okay, straight up. Okay, straight
There
up.
you
All
go.
right. Thank you. I went to school in Dublin, New Hampshire. Graduated in '51. Went to Wentworth Institute for Building and Construction in Boston, Massachusetts. I was drafted at that time. I was able to get a deferment and join the Naval Reserve. I served 2 tours overseas in the Far East, and came back and went into the construction business. Some of the things that I've worked with, I was on the Dunedin Country Club board for 6 years. I also helped out over at Nice Manor for 12 years with their construction problems. Some of the things that we've, with the committee we've been working on here is number one, the tavern door going into the kitchen. Now it goes both ways. It was a push, but we got that done. Again, the downspout on the north side of the pool room was spewing water out all over the campus, and we were able to get them to turn that around and turn it into the drain, which I was very happy to see. The concrete bumpers out here for the parking lot were scattered. We were able to get those put back in place and put the pins in them. And the parking lights in the campus here, especially on the south side, were on until 9 o'clock during the day. And we kept bringing it up and saying, why is that? And they said, oh, it's on a timer. Well, it's such a waste of electricity, but they did correct that, so. Anyhow, the other thing that we've been working on here recently is the sidewalks. There's been no decision made on that, but we did have some special meetings in regard to that. I'm open for questions if that's appropriate.
I will save questions until the end. Go ahead. Thank you, Ed. Well, with the third opening, I guess what we're planning to do as a board is to seek out someone who would appreciate being appointed. But until then, since there's 2 candidates for 3 positions, we don't have to hold an election. So I'm going to entertain a motion to accept the candidates and have a unanimous vote applied.
So moved. So moved.
Have a second, whatever.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. I don't have to say nay. Now with the presentation, those presentations and election over, we're into the comment period. I try very hard not to take away any of the thunder from the committees because they have done some good things this year. But 2022 has been quite a year. COVID's still hanging around. We got the second booster, third booster, I forget which. Masks are not a requirement, that's all going away. We had power outages more than once, more than twice. We had a fire resulting in a flood. We've had hurricanes, 2, employee shortages, and inflation. Did I miss anything? We don't need any more. Still, through it all, staff has responded very well. We were fed, we had clean linen, housekeeping, be it at a reduced level, and activities are back to normal. We really are blessed to be here at Regency Oaks. Well, this current board started the year by taking exception to the 2022 ancillary charge brochure, especially the new takeout charge. We didn't think that was appropriate. And a letter was sent to the executive director by the board opposing that charge. I wrote this one in. Last year we did not see a draft copy of the ancillary charges, but this year we're promised to see the draft before it goes out for 2023. More recently, the board sent a strongly worded letter to the executive director to stop the construction of the new town hall structure that came right up to the south dining room building. And it needed to be redesigned. It was a horrible design. We got that done, and right now, at least it's not as ugly. It was pretty bad. And also a letter was sent to the executive director for the results of our August 5th meeting. A copy is it still in the?
No.
Oh, it's been taken down, but it was up since August. A copy of that letter. When the new executive director is selected, a copy will be sent to the new person too. One of the items in the letter is communication. And Tony's talked about it in the Tuesday talks this past year about the communication. So this afternoon, here at 2:30, all the directors will be here, except Evan Poole, to listen to your compliments, concerns, updates, whatever you want to have. You can do it one-on-one with the director. In fact, I'm thinking of recommending changing your name because they're very confusing this meeting with the in and O with RO. I'm going to change it simply to meet the directors. And I'm pleased, in the past, it's been poorly attended. And we need to have more people, rather than complaining or talking to your meal mates, come down and talk to the director. Also, just as a concern or a pause, on January 16th, when we get the new executive director, don't rush in with all your issues and complaints. At least wait till the 17th. Because it's going to take that person to at least get used to sitting in that area. So we'll give her a copy, but not on the 16th or the 17th or the 18th. Maybe just let the new person get attached with the job. So with that, we'll start with Mary Ellen. She's reporting for Andrea, who is ill and cannot make it today. You're doing the activities committee because you're a member, right? Let's get this out of your way.
President activities accomplishments in 2022. Members: Andrea Hagner, Chairperson Mary Ellen Bader, Judy Collins, Millie Diaz, Betty Egray, Mary Ellen Gardner, Betty Lou McKay, Bill Moscardini, Lorraine Moscardini, Mike Murphy, Rita Singer, and Ann Tanner. We aim to find something for everyone this year, and we fostered a sense of community. The constraints of construction hardships were for everybody, I think, but activities especially were a challenge. We have variety on the committee. Rita Singer started the popular dance night. Judy Collins worked on movies in the lobby nights. Judy and Millie Diaz organized the arts and crafts show and sale. Millie Diaz worked and organized the bereavement and caretaker support groups. Betty Lou ran the clothing swap in the spring along with Mary Ellen Bader. Bill Moscardini contacted and organized several well-attended programs on local history. Bill and Lorraine organized the popular My Life Experience programs. Mary Ellen Gardner keeps on track with all the community calendar. Betty Egray writes for The Oaks, and she and Ann Tanner have both had health issues this year, but when they are in attendance, they have always provided valuable suggestions and points of view. Mike Murphy has provided insight and ideas. Ginger has been an incredible director, and Samantha is a treasure. They take our ideas and make them work. Thank you.
Tony, your turn.
Just one page. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Tony Quattromani, the chair of the Technology and Communications Committee. Our members, and this was primarily an all-new membership for the committee. Only one person was from last year. However, I want to thank the previous year, Fred Green, Lou Weisslogel, and Fred Gardner for the help they gave us. For the help they gave us during the year. The new members: Candy Mueller, Gail Loken, Bill Snyder, Mike Murphy, Lord Bauer. And we also had other people help with help to the residents. Mary Ellen, and I'm going to miss some, I know. Mary Ellen, Fred, and Nancy White. Nancy Murphy come to mind. And we did one thing, we added one new member that we never had before. We were the only committee that did not have a member of management on the committee. So I went to our executive director and complained, and he said he would join. And he hit every one of our meetings from, I think it was May on, with the exception of this week, because they're making a new the interviewing new director. So that helped. Having the executive director helped. It cut a lot of channels, and we got support from other directors very quickly. And one of the things we did is we now have our meetings in the training room, and that's where we do other things. So anyway, what did we do? We reviewed the new resident web portal and made some suggestions. That was built by the management team, not us, but we did help. We continue to emphasize the need for increased IT support. We're getting a little, but we need more, and we're going to keep fighting for an IT director. We'll keep fighting. As soon as the new executive director comes in on the 17th, I'm going to go talk to the executive director about IT support. Mainly through the help of Fred and Lou, we maintain awareness of technology for the new town hall, and we had several briefings by management about what is going on in the town hall. We can't affect what's going on, but at least we learned what was being done. We started a new program of learning laboratories for residents, and they have proven to be not overwhelmingly attended, but when we do get people to attend, I think they've been pretty well done. We're going to continue that next year, and we will have new learning labs. We'll get into the use of the PC and some of the applications on the PC. One of the best ways, or one of the ways we found that we can get out information to the residents, one of the good ways, is by publishing in the Oaks. Now, I know not everybody reads them, but we do have we've had a lot of articles in there. Next year, I hope to have a monthly article on new technology terms. What is a boot? What do you do with a boot? You just shut off the PC and turn on again. That's what a boot is, but it's a terrible word. Anyway, and bug, that'll be an interesting detail. So we'll have that. I think we'll have periodical articles on helpful hints. And this, every day we find out there's new sources of technology assistance for seniors. And we've published a couple of them so far, but I found another one. I think it was Gail, brought in a poster from AARP, and you call this number and they'll give you free technical support, only for seniors. So there's another one, and we'll keep pushing those. And I want to point out, and we'll have an article about this, but technology both helps and hurts communications. If it's not used properly, it'll hurt communications. And that brings me to my last point. Chris already brought that up. I gave a briefing to the management team, the executive management team, and to the residents on communications. Well, I'm going to do that again next year, but I want to provide increased emphasis on listening. Listening, you can have great communications, great technology, wonderful message, but if the receivers don't listen to what is said, or read if it's a written message. So I'm going to give that, and I hope to give it to the executive team as well. We're always seeking new members. Everybody on the team said they will come back next year, so the committee as it exists, but we need new members. You don't have to be a technological guru. All you have to be is have a little smarts and the willing to learn and have some fun, because we do. Thank you.
Thanks. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm Don Hamilton, and I've had the distinct pleasure of running building and grounds for the last 6 years. You've all heard me talk, and you've talked to our committee. We've had a very interesting 2021, 2022. 2022 began very much like 2021 ended for building and grounds. We had many of the same issues. New appliances were still back ordered and repair parts difficult to obtain. Our customers were experienced in what to expect. They were used to delays, but understanding that it was a problem of the multi-year COVID issue we were coping with. It was hard to understand the frequent turnover of staff, but maintenance people were able to get any job and they were often all in demand. We are seeing this even today, that service people like maintenance and housekeepers are still being actively sought. And now they are receiving $15 an hour. Some even get a premium if they are skilled in air conditioning, painting, electrical repair, and the like. 2022 brought needs like air conditioning repair for many of Regency Oak's old units. But with loyal and experienced repairmen in both buildings, they kept us in cool air. We also benefited having built an inventory of reliable replacements with replacement units, so when an older one failed, we could promptly change it out. New residents were patient while waiting to have pictures and other decor hung. This activity is a frequent work order request and is taken care of now promptly. Residents were nervous about service staff in their apartments or even replacing light bulbs. They were afraid that COVID was going to be transferred with a new light bulb. The maintenance staff is always repaired safety and comfort outages as they were reported, such as air conditioning outages, plumbing problems, electrical outages, and are all treated seriously. Non-functioning appliances were swapped from vacant apartments until a new one arrived. Some desired additions like washers and dryers installed, which had to be delayed, as well as in-house contracting that is done by CDS, such as replacing vinyl with glass on lanais, was impacted by shortages of supplies as well as costs. Due to some of the projects have interest in you that are here today, investigate. Residents can always make modifications to their units. You can install fresh carpeting as well as hardwood flooring and tile. Some popular projects listed are carpet cleaning and apartment deep cleaning. You can have your own favorite contractor do that work if he meets the basic normal requirements on permits and licenses. The Buildings and Grounds Committee also does special studies. Some are even studied again. Remember not 2021 temperature study of the swimming pool temperatures, and the recommended 87 degrees for the pool and 104 degrees for the jacuzzi. Were looked at again as a new heating equipment is to be installed in 2023. We also investigated a suggested mural for the new town hall and a mediation walkway versus adding a dedicated path to Regency Oaks Boulevard when the surface is replaced over the next 4 years. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I am Judy Studebaker, Chair of the RORO Sales and Marketing Committee. Members of the committee are Jim Bader, Bobby Belcher, Bill DiMarino, Eleanor Finn, Chet James, Carolyn Montgomery, Ed Newton, and Ann Siraj, and of course Perry Goodbar, Director of Sales and Marketing. To try to enhance the move-in experience of new residents, in addition to department manager buddies, ambassador guides are now assigned to each new resident. Managers simply don't have the time to give each new resident the necessary information and tours to show them where everything is located. The new welcome tables seem to be working well in both dining rooms. Ruth Guth's friendship table is still very successful on Friday nights. The Signature Club is now active. A fee of $500 per person per year grants each prospect once a quarter attendance at a food and beverage event, a monthly activity participation, and priority status on upcoming available apartments. There are some apartments in high demand. In helping prospects make a decision to move to Regency Oaks, the committee suggested that sales counselors call a member of the Sales and Marketing Committee, asking them to make a telephone call to people they think are close to making that decision, to encourage them to make that decision sooner rather than later. Hopefully this will be very helpful. Sales counselors have been asked to provide a short bio about new people moving in, so ambassador guides have reference points to start conversations with them. We think this is important because if new residents don't feel happy, they're not going to encourage their friends and neighbors to move here. It was suggested that the sales counselors ask committee members to make telephone calls to hot prospects to try to encourage sooner rather than later decisions. Safety issues need to be stressed to prospects. For instance, how we are always okay during hurricanes, etc., with food and water provided. It needs to be pointed out that we are 87 feet above sea level, so we may be an island, but we will never be flooded. It was suggested that committee members might have conversations with adult children to encourage decisions. The Sales and Marketing Committee met in November and brainstormed ideas which might be useful encouraging not ready yet people to get ready. I think the committee is making progress, but additional progress is needed. Amy Wall, Regional Sales and Marketing Director, will be meeting with us every other month during 2023. If any of you have suggestions of how we can help sales and marketing get people to become neighbors and friends of all of us, be sure to mention this to a member of the Sales and Marketing Committee. We need new ideas. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Margaret Hendry, Chair of the Dining Committee. The members of our committee are Bobby Belcher, Brenda Jones, Pam DiMarino, Pat Geisheimer, Edie James, Judy Studebaker, Linda Rudiger, Tammy Maurice, and Emilio Petty. The staff that come to our meetings all the time, Ricky Bacher, Phil Sertz, and Johnny Houts. Opening the venues after COVID was a big thing. We went to the reservation system, which helps the wait time. Brant and LCS had Regency Oaks go to 1 meal a day plan. We promoted from within. Danielle and Maddie were made dining room managers, and Dustin was made maitre d' over all the managers. We have had a successful year with gourmet, enchanted evening, chef's table, pop-ups on the breezeway, Bella Roll pizza on the breezeway, grill on the breezeway, and all the breezeway events depend on weather. We had a successful anniversary dinner. I think we looked pretty good, all dressed up. We'll do it again on the New Year's Eve party. We did special holiday meals and indoor picnic for summer holidays. Opened the gastro pub, which we call the pub or the tavern when we forget. It has a nice menu. LCS gave an award to Dining Services at Regency Oaks for recognition of an outstanding program. We are the only community to offer a variety of dining venues. That's Dining Committee. Next, I will do Andrea's Employee Gift Fund. Andrea is the chairperson. Judy Diver, Eleanor Fenn, Robin Graham, Norma Jean Infante, Carolyn Montgomery, Alice Quattromani, and Ann Tanner are the members. 2022 has been hard for everyone's finances. Gift Fund has been running about 40% behind last year. The committee has been creative about asking for help. Tuesday Talks benefits, lots of new flyers, all resident letters. October was the best collection ever, we think, in the history of the 30 years of the gift committee. Mid-November was only 30% behind the same time last year. More associates are available this year, so the pot will be split more ways. Checks will be written by all these members. They're going to get writer's grant on November 26th, and distribution will be on Friday during the day so employees can come pick up their checks. Stop by 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. to see how much your gift is appreciated. Thank you.
December 2nd.
Yeah, what's that? Friday is December 2nd.
Next.
Good morning. I'm Chad James, Chairman of the Health and Safety Committee. I'd like to thank my members for this year. They are Jim Bader, John Bergman, Robin Graham, Karen Lee, Susan Haverbeck, Toby Shugart, John Myers, and Millie Diaz. This committee is working on a lot of things that are sort of a work in progress. We did complete the dining and events policy on resident access and seating earlier this year. We tried to restart the cycling program. The result is that we're only able to recycle pasteboard, or what's commonly called corrugated, due to Waste Management's policy that they will not cycle anything else. In the process of doing that, we looked at the code requirements for garbage disposal as part of the recycling efforts. The result of that was that we need new fire doors, a lot of them in this facility, but especially for the garbage chutes and stairwells. We met with the LCS Division Safety Director, and the result is we're going to try to have the access doors to the garbage chutes tied into the fire alarm system so that the doors can stay open so people can have access to garbage disposal very easily. But if there's a fire here, the doors will automatically close. That's a work in progress. We recommended additional stop signs for the facility. That's a capital expenditure, and it's supposedly in the request for 2023. That request has not been approved yet, so I don't know if that's going to fly or not. I started measuring the effectiveness of your pendants in the stairwells, okay? Completed one for the south building, and the fire interrupted me trying to do it in the north building. So I'm going to restart that completely and totally, okay? Because the stairwells have been painted, and I don't know if that's going to influence the ability of the desk to know where you're calling from, okay? But we're going to try to do that so that when you hit your pendant button, and if you're in the stairwell, they know where you are, okay? We developed a system of identifying the stairwells. It turns out that Pinellas County doesn't have a standard for how to identify the stairwells, nor does the city of Clearwater. But the county of Palm Beach, Florida did have one, okay? And since they're in the hurricane zone like we are, we looked at what they did and modified it slightly and presented that to management. The stairwells will be identified per our recommendations, okay? There are some changes in that will need to result in some additional information to both residents and to the staff. The stairwells are going to be identified by the color of the stairwell. If you look on the back of the doors, in each of the stairwells, there will be a different color. And all of this leads up to something that I think we will work on this next year. One is we're going to finish up the measurements of the effectiveness in the stairwell. We need to get CPR training in focus. And we're thinking about, and we're going to start on what I call a resident safety manual or a safety pamphlet. And this has to include, because we have so many new things, we've got fobs to do everything, and we've re-identified the stairwells. And that has to, everybody needs to know about that, not just new residents, but existing residents. So that's going to be our focus for this next year. Thank you very much.
Good morning, I'm Lou Weisfeld, Chairman of the Finance Committee. See, I get to go last because it's show me the money. Famous line from Louis. Job of the committee is to review the financial revenue and expenditures of the operation of Regency Oaks. Committee consists of Bobby Boucher, Marie Bishop, Fred Green, Don Hamilton, Bill Muscadini, Ed Newton, C.L. Wilmot, and our financial director, Sherry Shivitz. Basically, we had three functions. This is not a very glamorous committee, I hate to tell you. We sit and we look at financial reports for the month and for the year to date. And we ask questions. We don't get to pick paint. We don't get to pick menus. We don't get to brag programs. But we play a very important function in that we see what's being spent with your money. Basically, the three jobs we do is to review the monthly, the quarterly, and the year-to-date operation of revenues and expenditures. And as we've done this so far, I would report that right now, Regency Oaks is in good financial position, okay? Secondly, we were given copies of the audit report from 2021. And the committee had several questions they asked, and I'm disappointed to report that we have not had those questions answered. This may be due to the fact that management has been very busy with changes in the current budget, but as of this time, we have not had those questions answered. Now, the third thing was to interface, our function to interface with management concerning proposed increases in the monthly service fees and with the selective service costs. Now, I've been involved with the financial committee, 12 years now. And when I first started with the owners, 2 owners ago, I remember sitting next to Mary Brickle. And I said, "Could we see the budget?" She said, "That's none of your business." Well, we've come a long way. And I can tell you that this year, more than any other year, we've been exposed to the budget process. 3 of us, Chris, Fred Green, myself, for a period of over 2 months, weekly, have sat with Sherry as she has prepared the budget. We were given information that was confidential, and it was a very enlightening experience. And it's unfortunate that a lot of information got out that was misleading, such things as merged budget and things like that. It's a complicated process, all I can tell you. There are layers. In other words, Regency Oaks puts together numbers, then it has to go to LCS, then it has to go to Health Peak. Remember, this is a organization owned by owners. They want to make a profit. And then we would make some assumptions, and LCS would tell us yes, no, and then Health Peak would say yes, no. And really, it is complicated. And then outside forces come into play, such as the governor. The governor makes an edict that says anybody that accepts Medicaid has to pay everybody that works there $15 an hour. Okay? So we start paying everybody 15 plus an hour across the street. And what happens to the employees here doing the exact same job as people across the street in the health center? Now what do you do then? That becomes an issue. So there are a lot of things involved. And then when people stand up and say, well, the blended thing will be this, and people in the audience start adding this and that and dividing by 2, and they say, oh, well, our monthly service increase should be such and such, and then it comes out to be such and such. And they say, what the hell's going on? It's not easy, and Sherry has worked very hard, and the 3 of us were there to watch it go, and all we can say is, remember that Regency Oaks is part of an organization that's driven by profit, and they did the best they could to keep it down. So we were involved. We were there to ask questions. In the budget, the committee is there to ask questions each month, and we try to do the best we can. As far as the other half of that equation is, we have not been interfacing with management with the proposed increase in the selective service costs, as Chris mentioned. We've had no interface at all, so hopefully the sheet won't come out before the new director comes and we have a chance to talk to him or her about those costs. So basically that's my report for this committee. I'm also, fortunately or unfortunately, chairman of another committee, and that's the Waste Local Committee. Uh, 9 years ago, I think it was, the RORO board established a committee named the Waste Local Committee. It was set up to recognize an individual or individuals who make life better for you and me. It's awarded each January at the annual meeting to a resident or residents, quote, for sustained exemplary contributions to the quality of life of Regency Oaks residents. And it's called the Waste Local Award. And it was set up in honor of the first recipients, myself and my late wife, mostly for my late wife. So we are getting ready to award it again. I think it's for the 9th time now. Is it 9th
Count the
time?
people at the bottom.
And so we'd like to have a committee formed. We'd like to have nominations, and those nominations are due to me by Friday, December the 9th. You can either email me or put a note in my mailbox, P106 in the South Building, and give a brief supporting information of why you think that person or persons is deserving of that award. And that award will be made at the annual meeting on January, whatever it is, January.
Third week.
Third week in January,
Yeah.
okay? So give some consideration. There have been some really great people that have been named to that award. Bill Clark, Eleanor Fenn, Margaret Henry, Joanne Gussick, Fred Green, Harry Goebel, Robin Graham. So there are a list of people that have won it in the past. Thank you very much.
Before we get into the Q&A, I'd like to point out that this is the last quarterly meeting for Don Hamilton and Margaret Henry. Their terms are up and they can no longer serve for at least one more year. So I'd like to thank them for their 6 years of work, and we recognize you for that. And you won't be leaving the participation. I want you out here, right?
Yes.
You're gonna be sitting out here, okay, somewhere,
Front row,
front row.
taking notes.
But have a round of appreciation, applause for Also, we're making a suggestion for the committee chairs for 2023 that they review the whole membership of their committees and suggest that those that are on more than 2 committees maybe choose not to, and because we want to have more and more people participate. Because we typically don't like to have more than 9 people on a committee. So if you want to start the process of being a part of the Green Oaks resident organization, contact any of the committee chairs and ask to be on their committee. With that, are there any questions that we could answer?
Who's the third person going off the board?
That was Robin Graham. She resigned 3 months ago.
I thought she had already been replaced.
No, we have not. We still need to replace her.
Bill Moscardini.
Yeah, Tony, you want to bring a microphone back there? Or Ted?
I don't need them.
Where's the other mic?
Right there, you got the little square one.
Here's one.
Turn it on.
Here, get the big one.
That one's on.
I don't hate it.
I'm not techie.
Not anymore.
Well, call maintenance.
It's under your chair.
Okay, I hope everybody can hear me.
Yeah.
This is not a question, it's really goes out to Fred and Tony. And you guys are gonna be doing the sound system in the new town hall. And I just want to remind you that we're all looking for your glamorous results in the sound system. These microphones we have here, I just want to remind you, a Kmart blue light special went out years ago. Don't look for microphones there. And so I'm wishing you guys well, and may we never ever have to say somebody say we can't hear you.
Yes. Yay.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Bill.
Amen.
Any other questions?
I don't really have a question, but I did want Bill to know that in planning the new town hall, we had an audio specialist from Tampa company that came in, decided how it was all gonna be. The microphones and everything have been ordered, and the biggest problem with everybody having to say, I can't hear you, is because of the person speaking into the microphone. They don't use it properly. So, once you can get all the residents educated on how to use the mic, we'll have less problems. However, I totally agree that our system has been real stinky here, and hopefully the new one will be superior.
Is stinky a technical term?
I always use technical.
Being on the same committee with you, the person that they got to do the town hall is the person who designed the system in the old town hall.
But it
Same
was
guy.
good when it started.
Same guy.
either.
Yeah.
It was good a long time ago.
I just want to reply to Bobby. And, microphones are very important, but you shouldn't have to be like a rock singer holding it right up to your mouth.
Or when you're 80
Spreading
years old.
germs and whatever, so I just think that, microphones are a very important part of it. Let's have a microphone that you can hold away from your mouth a little bit and still picks it up. They do have those out there.
Yep.
Okay, that's it.
Chris?
Yeah.
I've been noticing lately that there are cardboard boxes being thrown in the garbage receptacle, especially on the 5th floor. And I'm wondering if it's time to remind residents, or maybe talk to new residents and caretakers about how they dispose of large boxes. It's not to throw them in there.
I'll write an article for the Oaks.
One of the, we had that problem on the third floor Savannah wing. So I posted a sign, white piece of paper, just for a week. English and Spanish. It hasn't happened again. Because basically you have to let them know that they take it to the first floor and put the cardboard, there's a spot there where you can put the cardboard. And the evening shift, whenever they move the garbage, they can just put it on top of the cart and they take it out to the recycle bin. But the Oaks is a good alternative too.
Both.
Okay.
Go ahead, Joe.
I'm really curious, when we have new people looking around, and we have to tell them that they don't have the cleaners, the meals are getting not as good as it used to be. Yes, that's true. That is true, ma'am. I'm sorry. And I'm just interested in how you guys tell the new guys that you want to bring in how things aren't as wonderful as they used to be.
Don't step on that. Your foot's right on top of the mic.
Oh, I see it.
Is there any word at this time when the tavern or pub will be open for breakfast and lunch?
When they get people.
The last Tuesday talk, I heard Brant say the end of November.
Yeah, that's really. They don't have
Never
coffee.
said that.
Yes, he did. He said a Tuesday talk.
It's gonna be early December, I think.
Well, if you believe that the town hall was supposed to be done in August,
Yeah.
be a little flexible. Go ahead.
Number one, why don't you answer that man's question, okay? And number two, my question is to Chris, do you have any contacts or does RORO meet with Fricker at all?
Like Fricker.
Fricker?
Oh, Flycra?
Yeah.
Yes, we have a representative on the board.
No, I mean, do you represent them and do they have a say in what goes on and all that?
No.
No.
They
In
make
what
suggestions.
capacity, now, I'm a Fricker member, I pay my dues there. Okay, that's what I'm asking. Is Fricker just for us to legislate up at the State House, or do they do other functions as well with us?
Ted, you want to address that?
Is that a crazy question or what?
No, it's not a crazy question, but FLICRA basically is a representative of the residents in
I
Tallahassee.
can't hear what you're saying.
FLICRA is a representative in Tallahassee. They do not directly interface with the Residents Council in any place at all. Okay? But they're available for consultation if needed.
With all these CCRCs, do they represent all of them?
Not all of them, but most of them, yes, okay? They're not FLICRA chapters in two communities that are very close to us, okay? They will represent them because they represent all residents that are in CCRCs.
Right, but do they represent, if we have a question that we want to bring up and we can't, let's say, we can't get anywhere here and we're asking for help and we involve all the CCRCs that are around. I'm talking about getting communication with them so we have a better understanding of what's going on.
I would recommend that you get with your local FLICRA board, okay? And they can tell you who to contact, or they will contact, preferably they will contact FLICRA for you, okay? You might not like the answer you get, but you'll get an answer.
but you people have never been involved with them.
I'm on the board of directors of the Florida State Fly Crew.
Okay, what do they do for us other than legislate?
That's basically what they do. They look out for us for legislation. They look at all of pending legislation that's before the legislature and we work on the ones for either something we want to have done or something we don't want to have done. Okay, they look out for us in that respect only.
Well, can they change some of the motions or laws that they put in?
No, the legislatures changed the law.
That I know. I
They
understand
can
that.
make recommendations, and they work very closely with an organization called Leading Age, which represents the owners, operators of these types of facilities.
Okay, thank you.
Simply put, they're called lobbyists.
Right.
Yeah.
You have a question?
He did already.
No, you did already. I saw you still holding the mic.
Right, nobody got it from him.
You want to hand it back to the? Double shuffle here.
Yeah.
I have two questions. One, I'd like to see maintenance fix all the tiles in the hallways.
Hold the mic, don't point with the mic.
The ceiling tiles that are out of place. I think new people coming in
Yeah.
and seeing that looks disgusting.
How about the junk in here?
And the other question I have is I'd like to know how they fixed or they came about the raise, what numbers they use. My suggestion is they use an average of a yearly basis. They took September over the previous September at 9.2% and added 2%. Now it's down to 7.2%. If they took the whole year, it would only have been about 7% for the raise for January. So we would be at 9, not 11.2. Next year, it's going to be dropping probably down about 6% or 5% plus 2. So because the CPI is going to be coming down. It'll take a couple of years to get down to 2% to 4% that the Fed wants it to be. But that's okay. But I think it should be suggested to LCS or our executive board that it should be an average of the year, not just 1 month, the highest month over the previous year.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's the way the contract is written. In other words, for the January raise, it's the September CPI for the South Regional area. For the people that get the raise in September, I'd have to look at my notes, but it's a specific month for the spelled out in the contract. So they can't, I know what you're saying, couldn't they take an average of all the months? That's not the way your contract's written. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So maybe they need to be changed.
Well, how you gonna change everybody's contract?
Any contract changes have to be negotiated with management.
I've been here, one gonna do it.
I agree, that'd be great.
You signed it.
There's still some people here that, I hate to tell you, there are a few people here that it's cost of living only. No, in other words, people that have been here for quite a while, their contract says 5% or cost of living, whichever is greater.
That's mine.
There are people here
That's mine,
that,
too.
newer people, that it's cost of living plus 2%.
I understand.
There's 23 contracts.
You signed it, you live with it.
I'd like to speak to Joe's comments about food. We've been here 10 years. If you went to a 5-star restaurant every day for 2 years, you would think it wasn't as good as it used to be, just because you were tired of it. I don't think that our food quality has gone down, personally. I might not like something, and I might be tired of that, so I'll eat something else. There is enough on our menus that if you can't find something that you like, I feel sorry for you.
Let me say one other thing about FLICRA, okay? There's a Florida statute, Florida Statute 651, okay? The title of that statute is CCRCs. There are about 60 or 70 subsections of that statute. It's available online. All you have to do is put in Florida Statute 651 and it'll come on your screen. You can find out anything and everything and maybe more than you really want to know looking at that, okay? And a lot of it covers, most of it covers what the state expects the owners operators to do. There's several sections that talks about resident councils, okay? But not too many, okay? If you're really interested in what FLICRA does, take a look at Florida Statute 651.
I want to add something to that. I want to add something to that. You get about $500 a year back because of the homestead exemption. That is because FLICRA was able to stop a law that would have prohibited that. FLICRA stopped sales tax on our meals. You would be paying, I don't know how much they estimate that you would be paying as sales tax on your meals, like if you go to a restaurant. And there are many things. FLICRA has saved you a whole bunch of money by watching the legislature and stopping some of the things that specific legislators want to raise money from us.
Mention the bed tax.
All I'm asking is what they do. I don't know that they save us $500 or whatever. All I'm asking is if there is such a thing, we should know about all these things that they do.
Well,
That's all I'm asking is, what does FLICRA do for us?
If you read the bi-monthly
Quarterly.
If you read the quarterly newsletter from FLICRA, you'll get caught up on it.
Right.
You'll know what they're doing.
I understand that, but if you didn't read it, it'd be nice if you did some.
Well, that's up to you, Rita, and that's up to every individual.
Don't get.
Tony covered that about listening.
Bothers you, I'm sorry.
You have to listen to the communication.
There's nothing wrong with the communication, it's the communicating.
I'm on the FLICRA board, and FLICRA is in the process of developing a new resident information session to be held twice a year, where the advantages of FLICRA, the work of FLICRA will be explained. We're in the process of developing that at this time. We also are attempting to get more input, or at least information, from the Regency RO board, asking for more direct representation.
Right.
So those are some of the things that are happening at FLICRA. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's been an excellent meeting, and I move we adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Have we gone long enough?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. See you in January.